Eamon from Ashton Farm here again. Following on from the last video explaining about the taping of the cows and the antibiotics. One thing very important point I did not explain, and that's the length that you hold out the milk. So the cow calves on a Monday, we'll say, and normally depending on which dry cow you use, that you have to have about 6 to 7 days of withdrawing the milk from the tank. Well, and the very important thing is that the cow is usually some of the therapy that we use lasts for 56 days in the cows. So you have to dry off the cow a minimum of 60 or 54 days before calving, so to make sure that even when it comes to the calves under 54 days, you still have to milk the cow out so that it's all milked out of our system for 6 or 7 days. But just to explain that if she calves before the 54 days, the week is not long enough, so she calves 4 days before she calves at day 50. You have to add 4 days to the 7 days, so her milk is out for 11 days. So it has to be 54 days from the day you put in until she calves, and then 6 or 7 days after that. And now you're going to ask me, the question is, if she calves at 65 days, that doesn't matter. You still have to withhold the milk for 6 or 7 days after she calves, so to make sure that the milk and that is flushed out of the udder, to make sure that there's no traces of any antibiotic lying dormant in the udder. So this is why the milk is flushes out the udder, and making sure there's no antibiotics. I hope that explains it. It's thing that we probably take for granted at this stage. Not for granted, sorry, we should never, absolutely not how dangerous it is, but we got so used to it that there's a lot into treating cow with antibiotics. First, you have to go through the dry period. Like that could be either 48 days, it could be 50 days, or it could be 54 days. But the one I think Kenneth is using, or we're using on Ashton here, is 54 days. And then the 6 or 7 or 8 days, 6 or 7 days then after that, after the 54 days. Okay, thanks again for everybody, and it's great to get these queries in.